Amora was walking home from school when she heard someone call her name. The voice was calm and smooth, but it came from nowhere. She turned around, scanning the quiet dusty road. No one was there, just the wind, and the tall palm trees swaying slowly under the hot evening sun. Her heart beat faster. She told herself it was her imagination and kept walking, clutching her schoolbag tight. But after a few steps, she heard it again, closer this time. Amora. She froze. The voice was deep, almost kind, but it made her body shiver. She didn't see anyone when she looked back again. Only her own shadow stretched long across the red earth. That night, Amora couldn't sleep. The house was silent, her mother already snoring softly in the next room. Just as she began to drift off, she heard it again, her name, whispered from inside her room. "Don't be afraid," the voice said softly. "I've known you for a long time." Amora sat up slowly. The window was shut. The door was locked. But the air felt alive, like someone unseen was sitting beside her. The next night, Amora dreamt she was standing in a field of white mist. The ground beneath her was soft, and the air smelled sweet, like rain and honey. From the mist, a tall man stepped forward. His eyes glowed faintly like the moon, and his voice sounded familiar. "You heard me before," he said gently. "I didn't mean to scare you." Amora felt strangely calm. "Who are you?" she asked, her voice small. "My name is Prince," he said with a smile. "You won't remember this when you wake up, but I've been watching over you for years." When Amora woke up, her bedsheet was cold and damp with sweat. The dream felt too real. She tried to tell her friend Cynthia at school, but Cynthia just laughed and said Amora watched too many movies. That night, Amora told herself it was just a dream. But deep down, something told her she would see him again. For days, strange things began happening. Amora would open her window to find white feathers on the sill. Her phone would light up with calls from unknown numbers, but when she answered, there was only silence. One evening, as she washed plates outside, the wind carried a whisper. "Don't forget me, Amora." The sound made her drop the plate, and it shattered. Her mother ran out. "What's wrong with you?" she asked. Amora wanted to say she heard someone, but how could she explain a voice no one else could hear? That night, she knelt beside her bed and prayed. She asked God to protect her and to make the voice go away. But instead, she dreamt again of Prince, standing in the same mist, his hand reaching out. Prince came again that night in her dream. This time, his eyes were softer, his voice gentle. "I can give you everything you want," he said. "Beauty, wealth, protection. All I ask is your trust." Amora hesitated. "You're not real," she said. "You're just a dream." Prince smiled sadly. "Then why do you feel me now?" When she woke up, her pillow was wet, not with sweat, but with real water, as if she had just stepped out of rain. Her mother called her for breakfast, but Amora sat there, frozen. That evening, she told Cynthia again. "It's not just a dream," she whispered. Cynthia's smile faded. "Amora, don't joke about spirits. They can hear you." But it was too late. The connection had already begun. The next morning, Amora found a gold bracelet on her table. She didn't own anything like it. She asked her mother if she had placed it there, but she shook her head. When she wore it to school, everyone stared. Cynthia even said, "Wow, girl, who gave you that?" Amora lied, saying her uncle from Abuja sent it. That night, Prince came again in her dream, his smile brighter than before. "Do you like my gift?" he asked. Amora nodded slowly. "It's beautiful." "Then wear it always," he said softly. "It means you're mine." Amora woke up the next morning, touching the bracelet. For the first time, it felt heavy. Weeks passed, and Amora began to change. Her eyes looked duller, her laughter quieter. Her mother noticed she ate less and prayed less too. Cynthia tried to talk to her, but Amora brushed her off. "I'm fine," she said, forcing a smile. But the more she said it, the more her heart sank. One night, Prince appeared beside her, not in a dream, but in her room. He looked the same as before, tall and calm, his eyes glowing faintly. "You've done well," he said, touching her cheek. Amora wanted to scream, but her voice failed. She could feel warmth where he touched her, but it was the kind that burned. Cynthia came to visit the next day. She saw how pale Amora looked and how her once bright room felt cold. "Amora, are you sure you're okay?" she asked. Amora smiled weakly. "I'm just tired." But as they talked, Cynthia noticed the bracelet. When she reached to touch it, Amora jerked back sharply. "Don't touch that," she said too quickly. Cynthia frowned. "What's wrong with you?" Amora looked away, ashamed. She didn't know how to explain that the bracelet wasn't just jewelry, it was a bond. That night, Cynthia decided to keep watch over her friend. Something wasn't right, and she wasn't going to let it get worse. That night, Amora dreamt again. But this time, the sky in the dream was dark red. Prince stood there, angry. "Your friend is meddling," he said coldly. "Please, she means no harm," Amora begged. Prince's eyes flashed. "Tell her to stay away, or she'll regret it." When Amora woke, her room smelled like smoke. Her bracelet burned hot on her wrist. She tried to remove it, but it wouldn't come off. The next day, Cynthia came over. She saw the burn marks on Amora's wrist and gasped. "Amora, that's not normal. We need help." But Amora only whispered, "He'll hurt you if you try." Cynthia convinced Amora to see a local priest. The old man looked at the bracelet and frowned deeply. "This is not from the living," he said. Amora trembled. "Can it be removed?" she asked. He shook his head slowly. "Not yet. You have to understand what binds you first." That night, Amora felt the bracelet tighten around her wrist. Prince appeared again, eyes sad. "You shouldn't have gone to him," he said. "Do you think they can protect you from me?" Tears filled Amora's eyes. "I just want to be free." Prince smiled softly. "Then don't fight me." The next morning, Amora didn't come to class. Cynthia searched for her everywhere, library, hostel, even the chapel. No one had seen her. By evening, Cynthia finally found Amora sitting under a tree, staring at nothing. "Where have you been?" she asked. Amora looked up slowly. "He took me somewhere. I don't know where." Cynthia felt a chill. "You mean in your dream?" Amora shook her head. "No. I was awake." Her friend pulled her into a hug. "We'll fix this," Cynthia said. But deep inside, she was terrified she might already be too late. That night, Amora dreamed again, but it wasn't just a dream. She stood before a golden palace surrounded by mist. Spirits moved in silence, bowing to Prince. "Where am I?" she asked, her voice shaking. Prince smiled. "You are in my world, the world you were meant for." Amora looked down at herself and gasped. She was wearing a white gown that glowed faintly. "I don't belong here," she cried. Prince's smile faded. "You already do. You accepted my gift." She woke up gasping, tears running down her cheeks. She wasn't sure which world was real anymore. From that day, shadows began to follow Amora. She would see shapes in mirrors and reflections moving behind her. Cynthia saw it once too, a shadow near the door that vanished when she turned. "Amora," she whispered, "this thing is getting worse." Amora nodded slowly. "I know." At night, the air around her felt thick. The bracelet glowed faintly like a warning. Even her mother noticed. My child, she said, you look like someone carrying the word sorrow. Amora didn't answer. Because she knew, maybe she was. Desperate, Cynthia went to a spiritual woman known as Mama Ifeoma. The woman listened carefully, then said, your friend has been marked. She is half here, half there. What can we do? Cynthia asked. Mama Ifeoma looked at her with pity. If she truly married the spirit, breaking it won't be easy. Cynthia returned home with fear in her heart. She found Amora sitting by the window, humming softly to herself. He's coming for me soon, Amora said calmly. Cynthia grabbed her hand. We won't let him. I promise. But deep down, she feared promises meant little against spirits. That night, Amora's body went cold. She couldn't move as her room filled with white mist. Prince appeared in full form, dressed in shining silver robes. It's time, he said gently. No, she whispered weakly, tears spilling down her face. Please don't. He touched her forehead, and everything went black. When she opened her eyes, she stood beside him in the spirit world again. This time, drums echoed around her, and spirits danced in circles. Today, you become my wife, Prince said. And though she wanted to scream, no sound came out. Days passed, or maybe it was hours. Time didn't move the same in Prince's world. Everything looked perfect, but it felt empty. Amora walked through golden gardens that had no sun. The sky was always white. The spirits bowed to her and called her Queen Amora. But she didn't feel like one. Prince watched her closely. You should be happy, he said. She looked at him and whispered, happiness doesn't feel like a cage. Prince frowned but said nothing. Somewhere deep inside, Amora knew, if she wanted to return, she had to fight. Back in the human world, Cynthia refused to give up. She visited Mama Ifeoma again. There must be a way, she begged. The old woman handed her a small bottle filled with red oil. When the spirit visits, pour this where he stands. It will break the gate between worlds. Cynthia nodded. But what about Amora? She must choose to leave, Mama Ifeoma said softly. No one can pull her out unless she wants freedom. That night, Cynthia sat awake, clutching the bottle tightly. She was ready for whatever came next. Prince appeared again in Amora's room that night. Why do you look sad? He asked. Amora looked at him. Because I miss my world. He sighed. They don't understand you like I do. But they are real, she said softly. They are alive. His face hardened. If you go back, you'll never see me again. Amora's heart broke. She didn't know love could feel like this, sweet and deadly at once. Still, she whispered, then maybe I must let you go. Prince grew suspicious. He began appearing more often, watching her closely. Someone's helping you, he said darkly. Amora shook her head. No one. But deep inside, she knew Cynthia was planning something. One night, as Prince appeared, Cynthia hid behind the door, clutching the red oil. When he stepped fully into the room, she poured it on the ground where his feet touched. A loud sound filled the air like thunder. Prince screamed, his form flickering. You dare defy me, he roared. Amora felt her body shake violently. The bracelet on her wrist cracked. Prince's figure shimmered between human and shadow. Amora! Cynthia shouted. Say you're free. Say it. Amora closed her eyes, tears running down her face. I break every tie. I am not your wife. A flash of light burst through the room. Prince screamed one last time before disappearing into smoke. The bracelet shattered completely. Amora fell to the floor, gasping for air. Cynthia rushed to hold her. The room went silent, the air finally still. When Amora woke up, sunlight filled her room. For the first time in months, everything felt real again. Cynthia sat beside her, smiling through tears. "You're safe," she whispered. Amora nodded weakly. "He's gone." Days passed, and Amora slowly regained her strength. The nightmares faded, replaced by peace. Her mother noticed the difference too. "My child is back," she said with joy. But deep in Amora's heart, she still remembered Prince, not as a monster, but as a spirit who loved wrong. Mama Ifeoma visited their home and performed a final cleansing. She burned herbs, prayed, and washed Amora's wrist with holy water. "This will close the doorway completely," she said. "You are safe now." Amora smiled, grateful. Cynthia stood beside her, relief written on her face. When night came, Amora dreamed again, but this time, she stood in light, alone and free. No voice called her name. No shadow followed. She woke up smiling for the first time in a long time.